Israel carried out the most intense attacks in Lebanon ever since this supposed ceasefire took place over a year ago. These were some of the bombings that Israel carried out inside of Lebanon. Let's have a look.
شو الله أكبر.
That was just one of the bombings that they carried out. There were like over 20 strikes in Lebanon. Unbelievable intensity of strikes. We haven't heard about the numbers of casualties yet, but the level of intensity in Lebanon is reaching new levels. Let's have a look at some of the other videos that came out from Lebanon.
الله أكبر. شوف اسمعوا بلاد الحرب عم يحامي الغارات. غارات هونيك بس صار من سيناء صار، وبعرف هون عم بيعملوا هون هلا حيطلع هون شيء هونيك.
That's just the past day. I mean, they've been breaching the ceasefire ever since day one because of supposedly this side agreement that they had with the United States. But now they're reaching new levels, proving that what all of this talk about this, ceasefire and de-escalation, let alone peace, is nothing but empty talk. And the United States isn't able to do anything but support Israel and continue its support for Israel. The funny thing is that they're having conflicting statements, so they're contradicting themselves. So the envoy for the region in relation to Lebanon and Syria, Tom Barak, he made statements a couple of weeks ago saying that Israel doesn't help the case of, again, another delusion of disarming Hezbollah in Lebanon by attacking all of these countries, but that the United States was dedicated to disarming them because they're their biggest enemies and they want to get rid of them. So they're totally supporting the Israeli agenda over there. And the plans of Lebanon, again, are showing a lot of mixed signals, number one, from the Lebanese government. Secondly, lack of genuine information and assurances for the future. There's nothing to confirm that Israel is going to stop these attacks anytime soon. The United States even failed to broker an agreement between Israel and Syria. And the Lebanese side, they're only talking about disarming the Lebanese resistance. Slight criticism here and there with the Lebanese president, but nothing apart from that whatsoever. And by the way, in Gaza, they reached the stage, well, Donald Trump had this handed this rope, well, even if he forced Israel to get into this agreement, but it was a rope really for Israel because they weren't able to do anything. We saw how the Palestinian resistance was putting the heads of the genocide soldiers in the sand of Gaza and how they were running away from them whenever there was a confrontation. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump said that just recently, that Israel, if it could eliminate Hamas in Gaza, it would have. But he knew very well, or they knew very well, but they weren't able to. And that's why they went into this deal. With, of course, a side agreement, because it's all shady. We don't know what the agreement entails, how much, We did hear the versions, of course, but this agreement itself, or the side agreements that they may have had with the United States administration, which is most likely similar to what they've done with Lebanon, by the way, a ceasefire agreement between the mediators in Lebanon and Israel having a separate understanding agreement with the United States. Donald Trump is worse than Israel, by the way, in many of these cases. The American administration, whether there's like a genuine move to try and reduce something and there's an inner battle, separate story. He handed everything that Israel needed on a silver plate. And although the side agreement that Israel had with Lebanon had or came into effect before Trump became president again, he is still allowing Israel to get away with that in Lebanon without any sort of projection to end anything anytime soon. So in essence, now we have a situation in Gaza where most likely it will be another situation of Lebanon, but potentially far worse, especially if Israel continues to prevent the entry of heavy machinery that is required to start the process of removing the large numbers of the rubble, because any heavy machinery that went into Gaza now is only removing like basic stuff, roads and basic things. Some of the people, of course, are doing whatever they can to live, but that's nowhere near what is required. And Netanyahu is threatening not to go into the second phase up until Hamas comes up with mission impossible, basically, and brings all of the bodies of Israel's prisoners of war. When the Palestinians don't know where 9,000 Palestinian bodies are in Gaza, because Israel was shooting at everyone and preventing anyone from going to rescue the bodies. And it doesn't look promising, to be fair, for the future. Whether Israel is hiding some of the information and not saying everything, their actions on the ground are still proving that they're making it more difficult. Because 5 hours before Israel published the report that they're preventing this Turkish force, 80 people, rescue forces, to go into Gaza, the Turks said that Israel authorized their entry. And they're supposed to go in from the Rafah crossing. But Israel now reports saying that they still haven't opened the Rafah crossing. They haven't allowed the Egyptian side to enter the Gaza Strip, although the agreement is in effect. Most of the aid that's going in is going from multiple other checkpoints, 500 to 600 now. The levels are going up in terms of aid in Gaza.